Does anyone else feel a little different before their birthday? In the past few years, weeks leading up to my birthday, I find myself in this sort of liminal space where I just find myself in the in between, I guess you can say. But I believe it's important to honor these moments and the emotions that come with it, as I am aware that this is where transformation happens. Last year, weeks leading up to my birthday, I experienced 2 weeks that felt extremely nostalgic. Like, extremely nostalgic. To be more specific, I felt like I was supposed to be in high school. This lasted 2 weeks, okay? This lasted 2 weeks. I got up every day feeling like I was supposed to be going to high school. Like, I felt like instead of going to work, I was supposed to pack a bag, get on the bus. I was explaining this to people and nobody could pick up what I was putting down, which I understand because it wasn't their experience. But I was just like, I don't feel like I'm supposed to be at work right now. I feel like I'm supposed to be getting ready for school. It was just something in the air that felt like I was supposed to be going up those 3, 4 steps of the school bus, getting on the bus, going to school. I felt like that for 2 weeks straight. And then, as the 2 weeks concluded and we got to the end of the 2 weeks, I felt like I was supposed to be in my first year of college as well. So it was kind of like high school, then college. And I started to feel like I was supposed to start going back to, my freshman classes and things like that. It was really weird and it's hard to explain, but it was extreme nostalgia. 2 weeks straight. And I just felt like I was losing my mind in a sense because, like I said, when I was telling people about it, they were just like, I don't know why you're feeling that. And I'm like, I don't know either. But, whenever I come to arrival about why I'm feeling this, I'll sit with that, process it, do what I need to do with that information. But yeah, it was just something. This year, I'm experiencing heavy nostalgia again, while also finding comfort and joy in the things that brought me comfort and joy as a kid. I've been watching SpongeBob and iCarly and Victorious and That's So Raven. I always watch That's So Raven. I can watch that a million times. And I also just bought me a Bratz doll. I loved Bratz as a kid. I had like 20 something dolls when I was a kid. And I've also really been into the plushies and the bag charms. I talked about that on a previous episode. But yeah, and in addition to that, I find myself having moments of wanting to isolate. So what I can say is that a common theme here is it's almost like a spiritual visit of my childhood or just my youth period. I spent a lot of time alone as a child. That's where the isolation comes in. My mom raised me and my siblings as a single parent. She worked a lot, and my older sister and I, we have a pretty decent age gap as well. So I spent a lot of my time just minding my business. Okay. Also, this year, my emotions were just extremely heightened. And I'm also blaming the retrograde. Okay, can we talk about that really quickly? Because that Mercury retrograde that was in the sign of Cancer literally was crazy. It was so heavy. It was so intense. It was a lot. It was a lot. But I blame that too. But overall, there's just a mix of nostalgia and heightened emotions, introspective, wanting to isolate a bit, reevaluating relationships, reevaluating goals, and just auditing life, right? All the things. There's also so much pressure around birthdays, too. There's definitely pressure and confusion around identity for sure. And this is really what I want to talk about here. Let me tell you guys about this. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it. But anyways, let me tell you all about this. So recently I went to an event with friends and I felt extremely out of place. Extremely out of place. And this happens often when I go to events that are for adults and I'm amongst other adults, but I just be feeling like I'm 12. I be feeling like I'm 12. Like, this is not the first time this happened. And I went home and I cried about it to my family because in those settings, the heaviness of my awkwardness just makes me want to flee the scene. And I remember expressing to my family that I don't know why I felt that way. And I just feel like I don't know what I'm doing. And I just don't feel grown. I don't feel like an adult, you know? My mom told me that no one knows what they're doing. And it's so interesting because I can tell myself that 1,000 times, but it don't hit like when she say it. You know what I'm saying? So it's something about when she says no one knows what they're doing that brings me back to calmness. It makes me think that everything's going to be okay. It makes me know that I'm not alone in feeling this way. And also it helps with things like me not taking things so personally, like people are only doing what they know is best for them, you know. And when she says that, it's like everything just feels clear again. Like I said, I can tell myself that 1,000 times, but it's like, okay, I'm not alone. Like, oh, even though, you know, my mother is an adult premium plus package pro max, even though she's that, she's still figuring things out too. And then my little sister told me to watch a Disney short film called 20 something because she felt that I would relate to it. And I really, really did. So the short film is about a character, a girl named Gia. And she went to the club with her older sister for the first time, but she was struggling to feel like an adult. And there were moments where she would meet up and converse with younger versions of herself, which were a reflection of her inner emotions, thoughts, and insecurities. I don't know why I'm getting emotional. But the movie just portrayed that adulting is difficult and it's normal to feel like a child and that we really are all just kids on the inside. I think for me, I always thought that I would wake up and feel like an adult and I would wake up and feel grown, and that moment may never happen, you know? There are times where I still want my mom to come with me to my doctor's appointments and to be in the car while she drops me off at interviews, you know? And the thing is, too, is like you just never know when you're transitioning out of that. It's like, oh, yeah, my mom did take me to my pediatric appointments, but now I'm an adult and now I'm going to all of these appointments on my own and I have to advocate for myself on my own, you know? I think it's things like that that make me realize that time is moving. It's just so crazy to think about. But anyways, back to me feeling young in adult spaces. I realized there's a few reasons I experienced this. One, these environments, they take me back a bit. I was the youngest in my family for a while, so even though I am an adult myself, being around other adults still makes me feel like the youngest in the room. And even at my past 3 or 4 jobs, I was oftentimes the youngest person on the team as well. So no matter where I am, I always feel like I shouldn't be in grown folks' business. Okay. And then two, I'm comparing my inner emotions and experiences to what everyone else is portraying on the outside. Like I am fully aware of my doubts, my flaws, uncertainties. Meanwhile, everyone else looks composed. So from that, it's easy to make the assumption that people have it all together. But in reality, many of them are probably having the same experience and thoughts that I'm having. Also, another thing with identity is that we oftentimes internalize certain societal expectations and timelines by thinking things like, I thought I'd be married by this age, or I thought I'd be a homeowner by now. So I think that birthdays sort of just naturally make you compare yourself or the future you imagine for yourself. So sometimes you're grieving where you thought you would be. You're grieving the friendships you thought you may have had, the relationships you thought you may have had, the jobs or the career path that you thought you may have had, certain experiences that you thought you may have had. This is interesting to me because for me at least, I've never really been a part of or pressured by those timelines. And if I have, I sort of maybe strayed away from it because, I mean, look at the economic and political state of the world right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are all just trying to make it day by day. Also, I never really had a vision of what I thought adulthood would be like because one, I never wished for or wanted to rush becoming an adult like other kids. Like when I was growing up, a lot of kids were like, I can't wait to be an adult. I want to do whatever I want to do. And I'm just like, I never said that. I never thought that. I never wanted to rush this. I loved being a kid. Like, I knew the benefits of being a kid, okay? So now there are benefits to adulthood as well, yes, but I enjoyed being a kid. And also, I saw my mom and her experience, and it didn't look so pleasant. No offense to her, mom, if you're listening. It just, you know, just being honest here. I also think it depends on how you viewed your parents growing up. So I think a lot of people who wanted to become an adult, they may have seen their parents having a lot of fun, having a lot of company over. I think for me too, I've heard a lot of people talk about how they've always seen their mom or even just their parents, period. They would see their parents getting ready to go out to like the club and whatever. That wasn't my experience. My mom was very much introverted and she'd get ready to go to work, come back from work. It wasn't a lot of, I think she just really, really prioritized family and home. So that was really big for her. And two, I've always struggled to envision myself older. Even though I'm going to be 30 in 2 years, it's hard for me to see myself at 30. It's hard for me to see myself next week. It's just, it's hard to see that. So there's also a lot of social expectations when it comes to birthdays as well. When people are aware that your birthday is approaching, people oftentimes they ask, "What are you going to do? Do you have any plans? What are you going to do? Are you going to go all out? What's happening? Oh my God." And I think that if we say we don't plan to do anything, sometimes we feel like we failed. There's just a pressure to do something grand for your birthday. There's this idea that you have to be dolled up and photographed and in a good mood, and that's not always the case, and that's okay. And even though those questions are harmless, it can still highlight what some people just may not have, whether that's the energy, the community of people to celebrate them, the funds to do anything to celebrate with. For me, I have always minimized plans for my birthday for a few reasons. One being, I have a summer birthday. And growing up, this happened a lot in grade school, but it was really challenging getting my friends together during the summer. I mean, we didn't drive at that time. Our parents were working hard, or, my friends and their families, they were on family vacation. And also, as I mentioned before, being raised by a single parent, my siblings and I, all of our birthdays are sort of clustered together. So my mom had to consider three children around the same time of year. And to top it off, our birthdays land right before the school year started. So gifts weren't extravagant or ample because our needs for school came first, and understandably so. And lastly, I am not a fan of asking people to carve out time for me in any way. Sometimes I feel like I'm putting the burden on others to celebrate me. I don't want anyone to feel pressured to make the time or consider a gift or anything like that. But I am working on shifting my mindset to assume people want to carve out that time for me and show up for me and celebrate me. I am working on leading with a positive assumption mindset, because that's a lot better than leading with doubt and a negative assumption mindset. I'm really proud of myself this year for not going into hiding and isolating. I actually made reservations for dinner. I invited friends, all the things, and it was a really, really good time. And I'm just really, really happy to have people to come together to celebrate me, and people who love me and people who just want to be a part of my life and, my achievements and my accomplishments. And it's just really nice. I'm not going to go too deep into it because I'll start crying. But it was just really, really nice. And I just really appreciate them just making the time and being there. I think birthdays kind of serve as this checkpoint of life, but I think we should stop viewing them as proof of if we've succeeded or failed in certain areas of life or not, and actually use it as a moment to pause and just honor where you are. And also see what your needs are. Like for me, I talked about the spiritual revisit of youth, and I think that I just need little Tia, and little Tia needs me. Little Tia needed encouragement and quality time and compassion, while older Tia needs to reconnect with those childhood qualities like curiosity and playfulness, imagination. I think it's just time for me to let them meet, you know? And there's so much beauty in getting older. And growth isn't always about becoming someone new, but becoming more of yourself. And that's what I think this is for me. So that's all I had to say. I don't even know if I made sense. I don't even know if I made sense, but everything is going to be okay. Like I said, no one knows what they're doing. We are all just little kids on the inside, and we just got to take it day by day. So thank you all so much for listening. As always, it is always appreciated. Make sure you guys follow, listen, and subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. And also be sure to follow the podcast Instagram at Thread of Thoughts Pod, and we will talk soon.